Hello everyone, it's DuckFaden07. Today we are playing Scam Zoo again, post MH3 updated version, and it is back. We got the trophy again in the first try. So last time I played this list, got the trophy, updated it, got the trophy again. This list feels great. It was a very powerful league. I lost I think only a single game in entire league. The deck performed very brutal. I always had either great Grief Scam hands or Scion Leyline hands, or just very strong good stuff hands, starting with Ragavan, leading into Psychic Frog or Kavu or Bronco. All these plans work very well in this build, and you have 3 plans and you'll always have something to do. Unless you're mana screwed, of course. Have to be careful of that. Changed completely mana base. I'm happier with this fetches and with this setup, but you can check out my past videos from the Scam Zoo. I have different mana bases there built for this deck. What you can do with this mana base, if you want to play 21 land, you can add a swamp, or you can add another survey land, because sometimes survey lands work great with the Caustic Bronco, so having 2 of them won't hurt you in this deck. Okay, so that is the option. Okay, Caustic Bronco worked very well last time. I was impressed, and I preferred it as a card advantage piece before other options like Fable. It also has a combo with Scion, where you can hit your opponent for 12 if you hit the Scion from the top. And this deck is built like that you'll always have something to saddle your Bronco with. So that should be pretty easy to do, but you have to plan your gameplay and plan the saddling. So mostly, if you can, if the matchup allows you to, you will play Bronco first, then play Kavu, Scion, Frog, Grief. After that, try to saddle your Bronco, of course. And it works very well so far. I'm very happy with Bronco. It wasn't very relevant in this league, but it was very good before, and yeah, I was pretty happy with it, and I think there's just limited options right now. Also, if you play Bronco, now we have a Frog. This means we have 24 black cards in the main, and this is you can play less black cards, but it is a pretty big deal to have such a good number of black cards. Makes your turn 1 Grief Scam much more consistent, much easier to accomplish, and overall just plays better. Okay, so all these cards are very good in this deck. In the difference from last time, I switched from 4 Totsis to 2 Totsis. I think Totsis is not that good as it was before to play 4 of. So I maxed Ragavan to 4 and streamed the Totsis to 2, but I think Ragavan got better over time and Totsis got worse. Okay, so but still we have and also my black card number went up, so that was also another reason to do it. So very happy with this 75 deck. Performed extremely strong, and yes, so I guess we can now go check out the gameplay. Also, Sun Cleanser, now one of the best cards in the sideboard against the Jeskai, Boros Energy, Nihil Spellbomb and Surgical Extraction as graveyard hate pieces. Surgicals are probably like the flex slots in the sideboard, or the Nihil Spellbombs, one of these 2 pieces. In this league I accidentally had 2 Force of Negations instead of Nihil Spellbombs. I didn't change it before start of the game. Toxic Deluge can be great against Boros Energy and some other decks too, like Yawgmoth or some Merfolk, stuff like that. 2 additional removals in Molten Collapses and some Pick Your Poisons. That is it. Let's go check out the gameplay. Okay, so let's check out match 1. Okay, so this is I was playing second, but this is pretty good hand. So I can start with turn 1 Ragavan. If my opponent went for subtlety, and now I decided to put Ragavan on top. I was afraid of counterspell here, so I wanted to go for a Totzi's Ragavan this turn first. So I went for the Ragavan here, and my opponent reveals hand holding Hello Forager, Unearth, and Force of Negation. I decide to take their subtlety, so they can't subtlety my Scion, but my opponent actually plays puts Surveil's Ancestral Vision into their graveyard, and then plays the Hollow Forager, draws 3 cards, which was insane, but they are not really able to deal with Scion or Draco mainboard, so they decide to concede, and that was the game. Okay, let's check out game 2. Okay, this is a very strange deck. I never saw this deck in action before, but it's pretty obvious what are they trying to do. They're playing Ancestral Vision, Profane Tutor, put them in the graveyard, replay them with Hollow Forager, gain advantage, stuff like that. They also probably have some different way to play those spells. I think I saw Jace. Okay, so I surveil a Scion on top. That is really good. So I go for a Scion. My opponent seemed mana screwed here, but they find Force of Despair to kill my Scion, which was pretty good for them here. I decide to lead with a Psychic Frog, but my opponent has solution for that too, and although they're kind of stuck on mana here, they still were able to play out their spells very well, and had plenty of removal to get rid of the Scion first, then Frogs after. Now they find another land, and yeah, they were suddenly in a pretty good situation because they were able to deal with all my threats, and now my hand was all full of extremely useless cards. Not dead after all, and 2 Leylines of the Guild Pact in hand, not doing anything, and also now the Stubborn Denial. Okay, let's check out the sideboarding plan. As I said, I accidentally had 2 Force of Negations instead of Nihil Spellbombs. I would definitely side in Nihil Spellbombs if I had them here. Force of Negation is not even good in the sideboard. Just it was accidental inclusion. And I draw my 3rd Leyline here, so I decided to concede. Definitely had a bunch of bad draws, so that was game 2. Let's check out game 3. Okay, so here we can see again, I didn't board much, especially in this game 3. It had Stubborn Denials in game 2, but I left them out in game 3, and basically everything stayed the same, except I thought I don't need the Fatal Pushes in this one, so I just boarded in 2 Surgicals, and that was it. Okay, here I find the Surgical. I think it was pretty good in this situation, and I decide to start with Bronco. Okay, if my opponent does a kill Bronco, Bronco will be a great threat here, and often you have to plan playing Bronco first, and because that will mean you will hit with a lot of damage with Bronco, and it often ends up being more damage than just attacking with Scion or stuff like that. Okay, opponent is mana screwed, stuck on the 1 mana, but they have Ancestral Vision. They have Ancestral Vision on suspend. And I was able to resolve my Territorial Cow here. I find my 3rd land to get the full domain, start hitting 4-5. And I'm now in a pretty strong situation. I don't think it's possible for my opponent to come back from this. I have Not Dead After All for removal. I have Surgical. I can play for 0 mana. Leyline Binding for everything they can put on the field. Yeah. Okay, so I start turn here with Grief. Try to scam Grief, but I decide to save my Kavu. Okay, so opponent pushes in response and I take their unearthed, leaving them with only Profane Tutor in hand. And they will draw 4 cards on their turn, but with just 1 land. That will probably not be enough to survive. Also, I have a Surgical in my hand if needed. Opponent kills, they kill the Kabu, but they go on 1, and I'm able to put them down on 1, so they concede here. That was the match. That was the match 1. Let's check out match 2. Okay, so in match 2 I keep a medium hand, only 1 creature, but I have 2 bindings, and I draw Totsis for a turn. That was good. Okay, so start with the turn 1, Totsis gets their Spell Snare, see their hand consists of Force of Negation, Prismatic Ending, so I thought Spell Snare is definitely the best card in their hand. It enables them to just counter my Bronco here. I should have probably played the Temple Garden there. If I played the Temple Garden, I would be able to play my Scion next turn. I didn't, I forgot that is a possibility. I could draw a Scion here, but never mind. Opponent goes on their turn and resolves the One Ring. Okay, so opponent didn't. They had Force of Negation in their hand, so, and I only have one. I only have one untapped white source and the Savage Triumph, so I can't fetch here for a second white source. In this mana base, opponent decides not to use the One Ring ability, and I also decide to hold my Leyline Binding. Okay, opponent plays the Survey Land and passes the turn. Okay, I can now go for the binding, let them draw a card and let them force my binding, but I decide against it and just start attacking with Leyline, putting them down on 10 life. And now I can play the Bronco and hold Not Dead After All plus a binding, so I go for it. I try to resolve the Not Dead After All. Opponent uses their Force of Negation, which is fine. They get to kill my Bronco, but I take the One Ring, and now they untap. They only have useless Prismatic Ending in their hand, so I'm in a pretty good situation here. Opponent plays Dress Down just to cantrip, and I play Leyline of the Guild Pact, putting Lifelink, First Strike, Hexproof, Trample, Vigilance on my Scion. And yeah, accidentally I clicked through the One Ring ability, so I accidentally let them draw 1 card. But yeah, I got the ring. And I had the kill next turn with the Grief, so I was not able to take a card from their hand, but still play the Grief, so I can just have lethal damage next turn. Opponent plays Wrath of the Skies to kill my Grief and Leyline of the Guild Pact, but I got them down on 2 and they didn't find a solution for Scion, so that was the game. And the Scion is pretty good because Wrath of the Skies doesn't kill him. It's a 12 mana creature, so Wrath of the Skies doesn't do anything against it, so it's a pretty good option. Also Leyline Binding is 6 mana, so doesn't work against Leyline Binding too. So I would say these zoo cards are pretty good against a very popular Wrath of the Skies right now, which is demolishing most of the other decks in the format. Okay, so I went for a Savage Triumph here, and I decided to go for a Territorial Kabu this turn and pass the turn. Okay, opponent goes for Tune the Narrative and Surveils. Okay, Jeskai Control is one of the most popular decks, maybe even the most popular one. And here, this turn I think it's best to go for full domain, play Scion Leyline and hold white mana untapped if they go for the One Ring, since they are on a 4 mana here. Okay, so they didn't have it, so I just start attacking with Scion Leyline, got the black land down and decide to go for the grief. Opponent has counterspell, that is fine. And yeah, now they have Solitude. Unfortunately, can't do anything about that. But I am able to play the Frog, play the Sun Cleanser, take their energy and make their Vrats and Galvanic Discharge basically do nothing. And I still have 2 Leyline bindings in my hand if they play Ring or the Flage. And here is the Ring. But my opponent actually was f6 and didn't draw a card with the 1 ring, so I guess we are even now. I let them draw a card last time and they didn't draw a card this time, and here I got double Totsis, so I was able to get rid of the counterspell and Concide to Memory from their hand, start attacking with a Psychic Frog, and now play the Scion Leyline, which gives Hexproof to my Frog. Yeah, really strong, and I also have the binding in case they draw another ring, so I'm in complete control of this game and my opponent concedes. Okay, so that was match 2 against Jeskai Control, and let's check out match 3. As always, some very quick matches with Zoo, and here I keep a 1-lander with Grief Scam, but I also have a Ragavan I can play. And here I also find Frog. I decide to to ditch the Frog and keep 2 Not Dead After Alls. I take 2 Bowmasters from their hand, leaving them with only Prosperous Innkeeper and some lands. Good situation for me here. Okay, so I can start attacking with Grief, play the Ragavan. I also find a Breeding Pool and pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays the Halfling. They now have some blockers. But yeah, that's totally fine. I go in for 4 more damage, play Not Dead After All on my Ragavan and pass the turn. Now if they want to block Ragavan, then they have to do it with both of their creatures. And here I find full domain to play the Scion, put them down on 6, and yeah, opponent concedes. That is the game. Okay, let's check out game 2. And also let's check out the sideboarding plan against Yawgmoth. There is already a sideboard guide on my dictionary profile with the old version of the Scam Zoo, and I will update it. Okay, so I went for turn 1 Surveil there and the Grief taking their Sidtonian Nightmare. I think that was very important here, because otherwise they will be able to play that Nightmare, put it on the field. I would not be able to discard it. Okay, so turn 2 I went for discard Yawgmoth. My opponent doesn't have anything but finds another Yawgmoth from the top. That was really good top deck for them. And here I killed their second Yawgmoth. Opponent in response draw some cards, trying to find probably another Yawgmoth, but yeah, they find more Halflings and pass the turn. I draw a Toxic Deluge for a turn. Here we can see the sideboarding plan. All Ragavans go out, Molten Collapses, Toxic Deluges go in. Okay, so now I'm able to continue attacking with Scion. So next turn I can put them down to 1 life and just play Toxic Deluge, destroy all their stuff. Opponent has Boseiju to kill the Leyline, but it really doesn't matter. I go for Toxic Deluge here, kill all their creatures, and that is the match. Very quick matches against Yawgmoth. And let's check out match 4. Okay, very strong showing from Scam Zoo. I either had like Grief Scam or turn 1 Leyline the Guild Pact into drawing Scion at some point of the game. And here I played against Living End. Living End is getting popular again, and I didn't even have Nihil Spell Bombs in my sideboards. I only had Stubborn Denials and Force of Negations, which, as I said, are not even that good here because I don't have that many blue cards. Okay, so here is the Caustic Bronco. So I go to cast the Kawu here, or Scion or Draco. I can cast either of the two. So I go for Kawu. I saddle the Bronco. Bronco can potentially deal a bunch of damage here, but I find a Frog that's also decent, like 4 damage with Bronco is okay, and also getting the card in the process. But opponent has a perfect hand and enables them to turn 3 play Living End with bunch of creatures in the yard, so I had to concede there. Let's check out game 2. As I said, I didn't have the spell bombs in this one, so that was a big minus, but I had forces, I had stubborn denials, I had surgicals. Surgicals are not great against them, but it's better than nothing, so I decide to board it in and removed all my removal. I don't really need that. Okay, so I find the surgical here. I go for start with Ragavan, and Ragavan just went crazy in this match. Okay, so first I find Shardless here to start attacking and remove all their generous scent. That's not a big deal, but like removing one creature from the yard slows them down. I also get to look their hand, and their hand was like really bad, just lands. So I was able to continue attacking with Ragavan here, got the plea, and unfortunately only hit Stubborn Denial, so that didn't bring me anything. Opponent plays their third land, passes the turn, they don't have the thing, so I'm just able to continue attacking with Ragavan. Got another Shardless from the top, so I played the Shardless, and the opponent at this point concedes. Ragavan just went too crazy this time, so that was the game. Let's check out game 3. Okay, same sideboard, and this time I have Grief Scam. I also have Force of Negation, but Force of Negation, as I said, is not that good. I don't have a second blue card at the moment, and I don't have a lot of blue cards in the main. Okay, so I went for the Grief Scam. Opponent has Subtlety, unfortunately, but it's okay. I can still go for it. Turn 2. I have more black cards to remove from my hand, and also if I draw blue card at any point, it can be pretty good. Okay, so I go for the Grief Scam only to discard a Foundation Breaker and in their hand, leaving them with just a single forest. They draw Hedge Maze for a turn. I don't have a second land or Force of Negation, but I am able to continue attacking with Grief at least. They are down to 12 at this point. Okay, opponent plays Architects of Will, and now this means that I can't really continue attacking until and I don't have any removal in the main, so I have to accept for Toxic Deluge. Toxic Deluge can be good if they resolve the Living End. It is kind of a solution for me to get back into the game. I was able to play my Frog. Opponent only bounces it for a turn, which is okay. I can just replay it again, and now hoping to hit that third land, which will allow me to play a creature and hold a Stubborn Denial. And the opponent now finds a Curator of Mysteries. And but I feel very good in this situation. I'm able to grow my Frog, give it flying, start drawing cards and hitting good with it. So I give Frog flying, opponent blocks, so I discard 3 cards to make it bigger than their Curator and pass the turn. Okay, now I'm also holding a Stubborn Denial, which means even if they top deck Cascade spell, I still have a solution for it. So great situation. I discard another card, deal 5, and play the Territorial Kavu, hold the Stubborn Denial. I have definite kill next turn. My opponent has to find something, and even if they do, I'm still holding the Stubborn Denial. So that is the match against Living End. And let's check out the last match of the league for the trophy. All the matches in this league felt pretty easy, I think, except for one of them. Yeah, okay, so opponent is playing Dimir Murktide, I think, in this one, or was it Murktide, or maybe, I can't remember right now, maybe it was a Shadow, we will see. Okay, so I keep a land on top, that is what I was searching for. So I was on the draw and had a survey land, so that was the reason why I keep this. And I really wanted to play Scion here, that is really easy way to win against the Dimir Murktide, so I just pitchcast the Grief here to take their counterspell if they have it and just cast the Scion. After I resolve my Scion, all their removal is useless, and like Orcish Bowmaster is pretty embarrassing against the Zoo, doesn't do anything, and I don't think they have a solution in the main for Scion combo except to play bigger Murktide, and I already discarded Murktide from their hand. So here I got the Bronco. Wanted to start with the Bronco here, so next turn I can play the Kavu and just settle the Bronco, start drawing more cards. I wasn't able to attack with Scion here because they could just discard a bunch of cards with Frog and kill my Scion, but I hit Binding with Bronco, hitting my opponent for 6. That is really amazing. And I'm attacking for 9, opponent is on 9, so I binding their blocker to trample over the Orc token and deal 9 damage and just immediately finish this game. So that was it. That was a very easy easy win in game 1. Let's check out game 2 and the sideboarding plan against Dimir Murktide. They play 4 Bowmasters and have a lot of card draws side to side just to get rid of all the Ragavans in this matchup. Also, I trimmed 1 Bronco to fit in some sideboard cards. Okay, so this hand was pretty decent. I think like surgicals are kind of the flex slots in the sideboard. Ignore this force of negations, they are nihil spell bombs. I think surgicals are kind of flex slots. You can play other stuff instead of it if needed. Options are like something like Celestial Purge if there's a lot of Necro. Maybe more Stubborn Denials, maybe more Thoughtseize. There are a lot of very good options. You can play more Sun Cleansers, depending on your metagame, of course. Okay, so I really love my hand here, so I play Thoughtseize, they play Bowmasters in response. I see their hand take the Toxic Deluge. Now they only have 1 land in their hand, and I can just take their Murktides, and it feels like a really good matchup. My spells are all just much more powerful, and I have clean solutions for their Murktides. And the Bowmasters is just always was just very bad against pretty medium, I would say, against a Zoo. I decided to push their Bowmaster here. It was probably totally unnecessary. Yeah, should have kept that, but it's fine. They have Psychic Frog with 0 cards in their hand, so their Frog is not doing anything at this point. I put down the Leyline of the Guild Pact, and yeah, it's just a very good situation right now. They don't have very good solutions to the Scion combo, and the Scion was always a big problem for Dimir decks. And here I also find Pick Your Poison, which is a solution for Murktide. If they draw it, so I decide to remove their Frog right away before they draw a counterspell next turn and try to chump my Scion. And yeah, they were not able, as expected, to get rid of the Scion. That is very easy win against Dimir Murktide. And that's it, that's the entire league. As always, the leagues go really fast when you're playing Zoo, even faster when you're playing a Scam Zoo, a Grief Scam on turn 1, followed with powerful cards from a Zoo deck like Scion. Territorial Kavu makes opponent concede very fast. Caustic Bronco is a really strong card that you can play in this shell. It's a combo with Scion. It's great with Binding and also Grief, Guild Pact. It can really hit hard, but you have to be careful with it. You have to have enough life before you dare to attack with it if you can saddle it, but sometimes you will have to go for it and just risk hitting the Scion from your top. Sometimes, often it will be worth it, but in most situations you will, if you plan it right, you will be able to saddle this guy, attack with it and draw cards, gain card advantage for free, for 0 mana investment, while still hitting hard with its ability and also dealing 2 damage if it connects. So that's it. Also, its sweet thing is Scion is giving Bronco and the Frog and the Grief, all these creatures, lifelink even without Leyline the Guild Pact. So it's it works well when you're playing against decks that are fast, like Prowess or Burn, stuff like that. Yeah, so that's it. That's the entire league. Hope you liked the league. Hope you liked the gameplay. This is the 4th trophy league this week. Every video was a trophy. I'm very happy with performance this deck. This week, everything I play, just I get a trophy in the first try or the second try. Feels great, and I feel great about this updated version of Scam Zoo. Frog was amazing. Often getting hexproof with Scion means opponent really have to invest much to try to get rid of it. And it's just another strong creature they have to kill. They have to kill Bronco, they have to kill Frog, they have to kill Ragavan, they have to kill Cow, they have to kill Scion, but it's impossible to kill all of them, and they're all just very, very powerful threats. All work well, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with this 75. And yeah, also the Nethergoyf would be definitely cool if it fit in this deck, but it's not playable in this exact build. I had a Scam Zoo build with Nethergoyf, but it's completely different. Uses a lot of other cards to support the Goyfs, and while it's doable, I at the moment prefer the Psychic Frog version, this version. And yeah, the performance of the deck was cool. I'm happy with the amount of 2-drops and the 1-drops in the deck. They're kind of the same. If you count it like this, it's like 16 1-mana spells, 16 2-mana spells, and the Greaves and the Leylines, which usually cost 0. So that's it. Also happy with the sideboard like this. Has answers for everything. As I said before, I think the surgicals are the flex slots. You can fit needed cards instead of that. And that's all for today. Thank you for watching. For the end, friendly reminder to click like, click subscribe, comment in the video. Tell me about your experience playing this deck. Do you think Scam Zoo is better than Zoo, or is it the other way? I think this is definitely a strong option for all those who enjoy the Scam gameplay or the Zoo gameplay. It's probably, I think this is probably the second best Scam deck at the moment. Necrodominance is probably the best one. The first one, I think this could very well be the second best Grief deck. I can't think of other that are very good right now. I think this might just be the second best Grief deck in Modern right now. And I always thought that this archetype has big strengths and can be a banger in the right meta game. And you could see in this league how easily it went through entire league. Opponent had a very little chance for a comeback, and was able to control the game from beginning to the end. Both Ragavan got better in decks like this than it was before, when it was basically the Bowmasters format. And Grief, Totsis, plus Stubborn Denial and Artifact removal from the sideboard can get rid of anything. And also don't forget the Leyline Binding. So I don't believe this deck has much bad matchups at the moment. It has solutions for everything, it can play against everything. I think it's a pretty good choice right now. So that's it. Again, thank you for watching this far. That's all for today, and goodbye.